Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. I hope that everybody is good today. Well, it is, believe it or not, it is Pearl Harbor Day. For those who know, it's 79 years ago today. Anyways, here in Dallas, it's a little bit chilly, but we have some pretty interesting news. I put out an action trade alert this morning. It looks as if Tesla may have made a new high, so that's kind of exciting. I hope that people were able to get in on that because I think it's a really nice move, and I think that you can I definitely think it's going to go higher. It had a little bit of a resistance at about 600, so hopefully it doesn't pull back. Be careful when you set your stop losses on this one. But I think that we're looking, it's looking pretty good, at least on Tesla. Just wanted to kind of give you general idea on the market conditions right now. Basically, the market is still in a confirmed uptrend. There was a follow-through day on the Dow, November 4th, 2002. And, of course, if you're a CAN-SLIM investor, you look for those follow-through days because that kind of tells you sort of, if you got the all clear. We're definitely in a confirmed uptrend still. And some of the indexes are hitting new highs. They pulled back a little bit, but the indexes are looking pretty good. The leader here are the growth stocks in the NASDAQ, so it's back kind of as it was before. The S&P's down a little bit. The Dow's down a little bit, and the volume's a little bit off. Some of the leaders that are up are DocuSign, Snowflake, Qualcomm, and Coho. But some of the ones that are down, of course, Li Auto. So you got to be kind of careful in that Chinese automobile stock area. It's sort of been pulling back a little bit. Big Lots and, of course, Marvell Technologies. But some of the other chips seem to be doing fairly well. So, that's kind of the kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly here. We have basically really good action on the spider. It's down a little bit when this slide was taken, but we're still above that key level, that 360 key level currently, 368.68. Down a little bit, also off a little bit on the volume, so not quite as strong. Now, what the spider is it's the world's largest ETF, and it is, it is the world's largest ETF. Many people have their entire retirement in here, so not necessarily a bad idea, but it is a very, very large ETF, and it typically tracks the S&P 500, the 500 largest stocks, basically, by valuation. So very interesting. By the way, very interesting thing, and I think one of the things that is possibly moving Tesla a little bit, on the 21st of December, Tesla is going to become part of this index, the S&P 500. So that is spurring some buying, I think. From some of the institutionals. Many of the quote-unquote weaker hands have sort of, they've been washed out, and essentially it's stronger hands, so that's why the price is moving higher. So hopefully it will continue that way. I want to take a look at the Qqq Trust. This covers the NASDAQ 100, and of course, this is where many of the big growth stocks live, Apple and Microsoft and all that. Actually, Apple and Microsoft are now part of the Dow as well, but this is also very, very important as well. A lot of investment in this. This is up 1.48% since today, about 0.48. It's down a little bit in volume. Seems like the volume has been a little low, but it keeps moving higher. The key level really on this is really 275, and it's well above that. So we seem to be back in a confirmed uptrend at an all-time high, and that is looking good as well. So, that's definitely something to look at. The diamond, which covers the Dow 30, it's down a little bit. Not too much. The key level on this one is about 300, so we're pulling back a little bit, but we did have we are in a confirmed uptrend, so as long as it holds about that, we should be doing fairly well. Again, this is the ETA, the exchange traded fund that covers the Dow Jones 30. I did add, excuse me, a interesting company today. It's a company called carparts.com. And when this slide is taken, it was down slightly, but I do think that it's in a pretty good positioned to start moving higher. It's got a composite rating of 89, and it's not that well known a stock, but it seems to be working, at least for right now. And it seems to be moving higher. I was able to buy in at about 15.75. Currently, when this slide was taken, it was 16.02. So it's moving up and down a little bit. But I do think it's possibly one that might be of interest. Just kind of want to give you an idea of my current holdings. Not all of these are on the small portfolio, so you can get an idea. There we go. So you can get an idea of all of the issues that I have. I have NET, which is Cloudflare. It's up a little bit. Tupperware is down, but it's been up over. We seem to be making a move on Blink. Blink seems to be moving up nicely, $3.16. Considering it's a $27 stock, that's pretty good. It's up 13% today. Progeny's down a little bit, just slightly. AMD, just slightly a little bit, but we're up overall. PayPal's off. I think there's a start to move. What's really interesting is I think Apple is getting into a position where it's going to start to move higher. When this was taken, it's $124.17. I'm not exactly sure what the price is right now, but it's up $1.92. So almost 1.5%, so pretty good. CrowdStrike, this is a recent ad. It's up about 2.77% today, $4.63. Palantir is up again. This one has been a really tough one to judge. I bought DraftKings today. I was down, though. Yeah. And, of course, car parts, I actually bought in at $15.75 on this one, so I'm up a little bit. And, of course, the winner of the day, winner, chicken dinner, is Tesla. It was $641.60 when the slide was taken, up about $42 or 7.1%. So pretty exciting. Going into Christmas, I hope that we will see, how everything is doing. So hopefully there'll be some strong buying. We don't know what's going to be, happening with the stimulus yet. So that might be a big issue. We just don't know kind of what the deal is on that. So let's, without further ado, thanks for waiting. Hey, Christian, thank you so much. Palantir was awarded another contract. Possible entry point. Let's take a look at Palantir. I think Palantir, it's a tough one because it's such a new stock. Symbol PLTR. It's such a new stock that it's kind of been, it's tough to play it because, it got a little ahead of itself. So I want to show you the weekly chart and then the daily chart. This weekly chart is kind of like straight up. So no stock can go up at this kind of level. It's just impossible. It's just impossible. So it pulled back a little bit, but now I think we're back. I think we're back up, going up again. Let's hope so. Anyways, but I do think that let's see if there's an entry point. I believe there's an entry point right about here, which is about 24. Unfortunately, it's 28.18 right now, and up about $4.31, about 18%. I know that, and I do suspect that Palantir is going to continue to get these contracts. I believe the contract that you're speaking of, Christian, was the one with Greece, for the entire government, which is amazing. I don't know why they're willing to risk that, but hey, I'm not, I wish I was a salesman for Palantir. That's all I can say. But it's looking pretty good. I think that really the entry point, I think, let's see if it backs off a little bit. But, I definitely think it's probably going to be above 30, probably by the end of the year. That would be my guess. It made its high right about here, which in this case is about 33. So, could you buy it here? Yes, but this is a tough buy here. I'd really, the place I want to buy this, and you're not going to like me here saying this, but I'm really looking to buy this right about at the 21-day exponential, and that currently is at 2067. So we're pretty far beyond that. I think the best thing to do, Christian, on this one is to wait a little bit and see if we get some kind of basing action. We're very far extended here. You can make money on this one. I definitely, did. I mean, I bought in a little bit high on this one myself. I got a pullback. I survived. I came back, but I just think at this price you got to be a little bit careful. I would wait to see a consolidation about 25 or maybe 24. I don't know if that's possible, but anyways, that's a really good one, Christian. And I will. It's definitely on the list, and I definitely own it in the small portfolio. Hopefully, I can give you some more information, on that one. So we have a question, mRNA. Let's look at mRNA. Let's just take a look at that chart. mRNA is the name of it. It's Moderna. And, here's my concern about Moderna, and I'm showing you the the weekly chart first here. Here's my concern about it. I think it may be a little bit of a one-trick pony. I'm a little bit... I know they're going to get a tremendous amount of sales on this vaccine, but I am not totally sold on the fact that will make the company. I think it's getting a little bit ahead of itself, and it's moving up a little bit quickly. It's 160.75 up $8 today. I am not in Moderna. I was in it earlier, but I sold it. The buy point on Moderna, on a consolidation basis, 95. So we're really, really, we're really beyond where it is. It's moving, but it is moving right up that 10-day line. The question is, can you buy this thing? Well, the checklist looks awful good, 7 down to 9, so that's good. Let's look at the funds. And boy, we have some nice funds coming in there. JP Morgan large cap, that's a great one. And we do have increasing fund ownerships. The reason I look at funds, and I'm so particular about funds, is because it's funds basically that move a stock, and that's what moves it up. Just retail investors alone, there's no way that they can push a stock up like this. What's happening is we're seeing a lot of funds move into this. So, in a sense, that's very, very, very bullish on this. But I'm a little bit concerned about. I think it's a little bit high currently right now. Currently, we have 40% of funds in the issue right now. So we're definitely in the sweet spot. Typically, a stock will make its biggest run from about 20% fund ownership on up to about 65% fund ownership. We definitely have that case here. We have 40%. We have 40% fund ownership, so that is good. And we also have these beautiful increasing sales in a in a growth stock. The most important thing really is increasing sales. I mean, profitability, of course, down the road, but increasing sales, that's what people are looking for, because the stock market typically looks out at least 6 months and about 18 months. So what we're seeing here is that it moved back up. Now, the question is, can you buy this thing? Well, I'm not so sure. This is very tough to buy. There just really isn't really a good place to buy this thing. I mean, the last true buy point was 95.21. So I'm going to have to wait for it to consolidate. Let's see if it pulls back below 150. I definitely think you should have this on your watch list, but I don't know if you want to buy it here. You're just a little bit too far extended. Let's see if there's a pullback to the 21-day line before you do that. So that's probably the best that I have for you on Moderna. Okay, so thank you, everybody, on TikTok. Let's see. I'm going to try to get to some questions here. I took some of them from YouTube first. Thank you all for joining. By the way, if you want to see the charts and everything, super easy to do. Just go over to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and you'll be able to see everything on there. So let's see if I can give... Okay, what do you think about Apple by the end of the month? Well, I'm actually very bullish on Apple. I actually had a trade alert on Apple, and I do think, it's going to move higher. We have a very good buy point right now, and this is important to this is important because I think this offers a good opportunity, a good entry point into Apple. Let's put up the chart here, take a quick look at it to see kind of where we could possibly get into this. Um, you know, I do believe that once we pull above this this 125 level here, and we're almost there, then I think it's going to be free sailing upwards. You can't, I did have a trade alert on this. The buy point really, I was looking at was about one, about 118, 119, but we definitely have a trend here. So I do think that once we move above this trend, once we move above this line here at about 125.39, I think it's going to go much higher because it has a double bottom shape. And this is a very good shape, by the way, if you're looking to buy a stock. This is like what they call a classic double bottom, and it is a very bullish, very, very bullish. Now, how far will it move? I think it could easily move this month into the 125, 130 range without any difficulty at all, based on what I'm seeing here. So let's check the small portfolio where we bought that on the small portfolio. This is okay, so do we have that? No, I guess I didn't. I guess I bought that one of my other portfolios. This, by the way, everybody, is the small portfolio, and it's available by going to www.DallasTradingFloor and just signing up, and we'll send you a link for it. But this is showing you kind of how I'm trading one of my portfolios. And again, it's a very small portfolio. And we started out with about $5,000. We're up to about $7,300, so that's pretty good. We're up so far this month about $332, which isn't too bad. And last month we did quite well as well. So these are kind of just suggestions. What went on today was car parts. Just wanted to kind of show you that one as well. This could gives you my P&L. I am underwater on one of them, DraftKings. I'm hoping that will come back. I may have come into DraftKings a little bit too early. Sometimes, to get the right jump, you got to come a little bit early, and that sometimes can be a problem. All right, thoughts on ARKG and ARKW. These, by the way, are great ETFs. Kathy Woods at ARK Invest runs these, and they are super. She's had excellent returns. She was one of the really early Tesla bulls. I kind of came to the party a little bit later than when she was, but this is the kind of the genomic one here. It's called ARK Genomic Revolution. Let's look at it. It's got a 96 relative strength. That's tremendous. We also had this little Easter egg here. That means that we made a very interesting thing. So let's take a look at the daily chart to kind of explain why that is important. What that is a very, very strong buying pressure there. Now, ETFs are a little bit different than stocks because, funds don't really invest in other funds. There are some funds of funds that do, but mostly these are basically retail investors. So these are pushed up by what's held within the fund, and not necessarily funds buying in. So, but needless to say, I mean, this is up $5 in one day, or almost 5, a little over 5%. So that's pretty excellent. Let's kind of look to see, kind of what we've got on the checklist. And again, this is a little bit different than this because it's an ETF. This is a little bit different, but 7 out of 9. So I'm liking that. And we actually do have some funds of funds that are in this. So there are 18 funds in it. You're not going to see Fidelity Contra Fund and those things because those are tier one. Those are not funds of funds. You're going to only see funds of funds in here. Now the question is, can you buy this at this point? Well, it's tough because it has moved up so quickly, so fast. But there isn't really a good place to buy this one. But what I would do is I would wait until there's a pullback, possibly to this little red line here. This is the 40-day moving average. I don't know if you're going to get a pullback to that, but we have had several. We've had one here, we've had one here, and we've had one here. So what I believe is that currently this is in a channel. As you can see, it's kind of in a little channel here, and it's moved up. Now, eventually, it will move down. and it will bounce at that 40-day line. This is that red line. This is that red line here. So what I would do is I would wait until I could buy off the 40-day line, and currently that is about 72.71. So we're pretty far pulled above that. We're pretty far pulled above that line. I do believe it will correct lower, because as you can see, we have a general slope here, which basically shows that we are a little bit out. We were a little bit extended here. This is a little bit extended, so we need this thing to pull back, because really the top of this channel here is about 89. So currently it's selling for 94.66. So basically, would I buy it at this level? No, I think we kind of missed the boat here. Let's wait for it to pull back down until it gets within the channel, and then once it does, then I think we have potentially a buy. And let's see if we could draw the channel lines here so we can kind of see that. I do think what's going to happen is eventually this is going to fail, and we're going to see a pullback, probably to at least the 10-day line, that's here, or the 21-day line, that's there. So I think I would wait. Let's see a consolidation. Let's try to buy this one at about 81 or 82. I think that's going to be your best bet. Thank you so much, Ollie, for that. That is a great question. And so here's what I would do. I would put a watch list. I would put this on a watch list. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now and show you kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to put an alert on this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look to see if I can put an alert on that one. And let's see. I want the price of this. I want is basically right about here, about 80, about 79 or so. So I'm just going to put an alert there, put it on there, and now that's above. I want to edit that, so I want that below. I think I do that by negative. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that. Okay. Well, okay. I have to figure out how to do that. I have to get a little bit more chart school to learn how to do that. But what I would do is I put an alert on that. If the thing falls below 80, I think that you want to possibly look at possibly going in there, because I do think it'll move higher then. So I do think it's a little bit of it's a little bit out of the channel. It's going to reverse down, and when it reverses down to about to that 21-day line, and it bounces off that, I think that's going to be very, very, very good. And this is a great ETF. Just don't want to buy it too high. Now let's take a look at Next Generation. This is an interesting fund as well. By the way, ETFs are interesting because with stocks, you don't want to pyramid in, and you always want to buy on a new high with a stock. ETFs are different. You want to because they have a basket of stocks. You can buy them on the dips. You can actually buy them as they go lower. But you never know how to do that on stocks. But on ETFs you can, because they're a basket of stocks. So for right now, with ARK Next Generation, let's look at this. We've got the weekly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart, see if they've got any kind of buy. Yeah, this is just marching right up the 21-day exponential. 135 is about about the only place you can buy it. It's at 141.79. So this is also a little bit extended from where we want to be. Let's just kind of see if we can figure out something on how to possibly look at this. See, I believe that this is the channel here. It's a little bit extended above the channel. I think we're a little bit exuberant here on this. I do think that we're very likely for this to reverse down here, okay, because it's moved a little bit out of the channel, and then it will pull back hopefully either to the 10-day line or the 21-day line. If it hits the 21-day line, I think you have a buy on this one. 21-day line on this one is 126. So that kind of gives you a good idea on that one. I think they're both excellent funds, but I wouldn't buy them right now. Watch list them, wait for them to pull back to that 21-day line, and then I think you have a really good deal. Question about extended hours. I typically don't trade in extended hours, and the reason I don't is because It typically is a little bit thin in extended hours. And for everyone that is hearing this for the first time, the market is open during normal hours, and then for about 2 hours after the market closes, it does trade in extended hours. It doesn't trade on the exchange. It trades basically on these level 2 platforms, such as Citadel in Chicago and those kind of things. But I don't like to trade on them because typically they're not as liquid, and I definitely like liquidity. I like to be able to get in and out of the I like to be able to get in and out, and after hours just doesn't have that. So I typically tend to shy away from trading after hours. That's a great question. Really appreciate it. Oh, thanks for your show. Because of your Tesla's bullishness, it encouraged me to jump in the stock, which I never did. Oh, I'm up $5,000. Right on, right on. Okay, make sure that you set those stop losses up. And thank you, Thor71. You know what? Hey, go out and buy your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. Buy them a nice gift. Okay, that would be a great thing. I know that I'm looking into for my girlfriend, I'm looking into some jewelry because of some of the Tesla gains that I made. So thank you very much for that. That is really, really kind. It's really, really kind for you. So really kind for saying that. Okay, let's take a question. Are you planning to sell Tesla prior to the 21st? Probably. That is a very good question. Thank you for that. You've obviously watched me a little bit. Typically, the way stocks trade, it's peculiar, but this is how it works most of the time. Typically, people buy things on rumor and they sell on news. Well, as everybody knows, the big news for Tesla is on the 21st of December. There's going to go into the S&P. So it is very likely there will be a sell-off. So a way to make some quick money. I'm not, in no way am I, in no way am I, saying you have to do this. This is kind of how I would do it. Is that going into the big announcement, the big inclusion into the S&P 500 with Tesla, I probably will sell it. And why? Because it probably will pull back, and then I'll buy it again. So we're trying to accentuate the upward movement and get rid of the downward movement. And that way, you can protect a little bit of your capital sometimes. You don't have to do it this way, but hey. It's good. Hey, thank you for listening. And by the way, if you're interested in trade alerts, it's super easy to get on the list. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and subscribe. And also, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me kind of defer some of my costs, and that's at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And of course, when you do that, when you do that kind of thing, it really it helps me out a lot. And of course, let's see if we can smash that like button. Yep, there we go. Smash that like button, please. Like it, please. There we go. So that is a good thing. So thank you for looking at the trade alerts, and I hope that you got some good out of that. One thing about this, though, is as Tesla moves up, you want to move that stop loss up with them. Don't do a round trip on the stock, because it's going to move up and then it's going to pull back a little bit. So make sure that you try to keep a little bit of a stop loss on there. I recommend probably pretty tight, maybe less than 5% or so. Don't let the thing fall way back down to earth and lose all that great, all that great gain. I mean, it's so good when you get that gain. All right. Question. Hey, Jim, if Tesla velocity, no one here, is anything to go by, it's going to hit pre-split levels. Absolutely. Here's the thing. I don't know if you've been watching me for a while, but I've kind of been on, prior to the split, of course, my trading strategy was prior to the split, and there's special ways that you trade splits, and I showed this on both Apple and on Tesla. Basically, you sell it the day before it splits, and then it will pull back, and that's exactly what Tesla did. Now that all the weak hands have been sort of pushed out, I think it's going to go higher. It's going to go a lot higher. Now the question is, how high is it going to go? Who knows? I don't know. I don't even care. All I care about is if it's going up, I'm pushing that stop loss up so that when it does pull back, and it will, I'm sold out, making the profit, waiting for the next time for it to sort of reverse trend and started moving up. So when it moves past these very key buy points, that's always a good time to buy. And of course, it's best to buy as the thing is moving higher, and then set your stop loss up. And then of course, when it pulls back, eventually you'll be sold out with some very good profit. So that's a great thing. Right now, I'm holding. Obviously, I don't day trade because it's tough to beat the algos. Here's the thing, everybody, about day trading. I mean, you can definitely make money day trading. I certainly have, but the world has changed a lot in the last 5 years, and that is most of the day traders lose money. And the reason that they do is because the algorithms trade better than they can. Now, I can't trade against the computer. I don't want to trade against the computers. I want to trade with the computers. So why do I say that? Well, interestingly enough, part of the reason I suspected that Tesla would move up quickly after it passed 600 is because the algos were set at that level. When it reached that point, when I started to see the pre-market, it was trading, 603. That's kind of where I figured it would move. 603. Once it traded over that, then basically the algos kicked in and started buying. So that's the thing. You don't want to trade against the algorithms. You want to trade with them. And one of the ways you could do that is with swing trading. I'm essentially a swing trader. I wait for stocks to make their move, and then as they're making move, I typically push into them, and then move my stop loss up, and then so when it pulls back, and it almost always does, I'm sold out at a profit. Now you don't have to trade this way. I mean, you can go much longer term, but this way you capture the upward momentum, and that can be really great in a stock like like Tesla. Well, hey, thanks, yo. Okay. Amazon's still down. What's your thought? Okay. Well, hey, thank you for that. I so appreciate that. Let's look at quickly at Amazon, AMZN. Part of the thing about Amazon, it's gone up so much so quickly that it's sort of taking a little bit of time off. I know, stocks don't go up all the time. Well, some of them do, but mostly they don't. Let's look at the weekly chart, and I just kind of want to show you this. Why it's probably not time for, it's probably not a good time for Amazon right now, based on this chart. And this chart is that it was moving. You see, it was moving up very nicely. Oops, there we go. Okay, there we go. Finally, there we go. Okay, it was moving up very nicely, but then it kind of got here, and then boom, it started going sideways, right? Yeah, so it's going sideways. So essentially, what we have here is we have a stock that is moving sideways, and it's not anywhere near its pivot. Its pivot is 35.52, and it's currently 31.58. So the trend, at least short term, and let's look at the daily chart so we can confirm that. The trend, unfortunately, right now is a downward trend. See that? That's one of the reasons why we don't want to be investing our money, our hard-earned money, in Amazon right now, because its trend is down. Now, if it can break through, if it goes down like this a little bit, and then it can break to the upside and change trend. See, if it breaks through, see if it changes trend by breaking through this line, there we go. Then we might want to buy this, but right now we don't want to buy this. It's hanging right at the 40-day line, and it's moving downwards. So we look at the relative strength indicator, and it's pointed down. So right now we have to watch list that. We can't buy Amazon. It has to break to the high. It has to break the trend to the upward trend. Right now, unfortunately, It is not. It's moving. It's moving lower. So here's the thing: if you have Amazon and you're down more than 7%, sell it. Sell it and wait for it to reverse. Right now, it's in a downward trend. When the trend reverses, that's when you want to start getting into the stock, back into the stock again. Typically, we'll see, because of the algorithms, we're probably going to see it, pull below the, we'll probably see it bounce at the 40-day line. If we get a reversal at the 40-day line, and the 40-day line currently, let me give you a number on that. Let me see what that 40-day line is. That is at 31.87. So if we see it move above 31.87, and let's put an alert there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put an alert on there, and I'm going to put an alert at, oops, where is it? Yeah, 31.87. And why do I put it there? Well, if it crosses that line, if it crosses that 40-day line, basically, and that's right here. I'm trying to put that on there. Yeah, there we go. If it crosses that 40-day line to the upside, like this, then it will have changed direction. Currently, this is the trend, but if it moves above that 40-day line, above this trend, above this line here, it has changed direction and it's moving to the upside. Remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the upside and minimize the downside. So we need to. I'm going to set an alert there, and hopefully Amazon will be in the money soon to do that. So thanks. All right. So let's see. PD. Let's look at PD. See if I can give you some information on that. PD. And that this is a company I don't know. Provides services that collect signals. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Well, I haven't heard about this one. Provides services that collect signals from software-enabled systems or devices, and it correlates something. I don't know what. It's $40.83. It's pulled back a little bit today. It looks like it has just moved past this key level at 37. Here, it looks like it's moved just above this buy point. This pivot, it appears to be at 37.24. Now, I'm looking at the daily chart. That doesn't really tell the story. Okay, but this does. Okay, so this is a first stage cup base, which is good, actually. 37.24 is the pivot on it. It looks as if we are above the buy zone. It's got a relative strength of 93. I'm liking that. And I'm also liking this little Easter egg down here with this huge bar showing abnormally high buying activity. Now let's look at the funds. 67%. So that's definitely within the range of something that is going to be good. Typically, a stock makes its best movement from about 20% fund ownership up to about 75% fund ownership. That is a very good sign because it's the funds, basically, they're the ones that can move into and out of it. The cash flow is still negative cash flow, but we've had looks like increasing sales every quarter. So this is very, very bullish, especially for a growth stock. All right, let's look at the smell test. Let's give the smell test. Okay, it's got 7 out of 9, so that's definitely better than I normally. My minimum is 6 out of 9, and this has got 7 out of 9, so that's very good. Let's look at the funds. We have increasing fund ownership, and we have T. Rowe Price New Horizons in there. That's one of my favorites, actually. Very, very good fund. What to do? Where to buy this? I definitely would watch this one. I don't know that much about it. Pager Duty. I think is that right? Pager Duty? Is that right? Is that how I'm saying it? Am I saying it right? Pager Duty. So the question is, where would I buy this one? Well, I would wait for this thing to pull back a little bit. It looks like it's going to consolidate in the buy zone, but I wouldn't buy it above 39.29, and we're at 30.40. So we could almost buy it. Yeah, let this thing pull back a little bit. It looks like there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. It looks as if, let's see if it settles above 37.24, because if it does, then we have winner. So watch this one right now. Put a potential. Let's put an alert on it. Basically, let's do that. I'm learning my alerts here. and that is 37.24. So if it crosses, and obviously it's crossed above that. Actually, I needed to say it crossed below that, but I want to see it, you know, that's above that number. So that's kind of what I have for PagerDuty. So I wouldn't necessarily buy it right now. I'd definitely watch list it, see if it pulls back to that pivot, and see what happens. Okay, so let me see if I can take another question. Bought Tesla at 623. Should I hold? Let's take a look at Tesla. It was a little bit tough out of the gate this morning because it just popped like you read about. Yeah, it's at 641 right now. So you're definitely in the money there. So that's good. I mean, let's look at the 10-minute chart on Tesla. Let's take a look. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be. It seems to have gone up all the way to. It basically went up all the way to about 650, and then it hit the skids. Here's the interesting thing. There's a lot of programmatic trading going on. You can tell that because on these round numbers, it's sort of hitting resistance. Okay, you can see how this sort of gapped went. Yeah, see how this. There you go. See how it moved off of 600. Okay, so it definitely has shown a range. The range now for Tesla, the daily range is between 600 and 650. All right, so that's showing that it pulled back, it bounced back up, but it's still at the high. Now it's going to have some more resistance at 650. Here's what I would do tonight. I would set my little stop loss up here, maybe to about this level or so. And you might get sold out a little bit early, but you'll capture all the profit, as you can see. So that's where I would be putting my stop loss, would be right about at that level, because I do think that there's a little bit of floor there. It pulled way up. You see, it pushed past this resistance, and then as it always does, well, not always, but many times does, when it pushes past resistance, there's a lot of buying pressure, pulls it up. There was a little bit of resistance here. This is the first level of sort of resistance that we had here. It was about at 625. It pulled through that, and so now we've hit the kind of the top level at about 645. So that's currently where the resistance is. So I suspect it probably in a micro way may pull down to this level and bounce a little bit. We'll see how it ends tonight. 10-minute charts are not very accurate because it's just such a short period of time. But here's what I would do if I bought at 625, just to give you an exact answer, is that I would push my stop loss up. I would set my stop loss at 635. And if it pulls back, you'll be sold out, making some very nice little profit. Hopefully it'll go higher than that, and I don't think it will be sold out, but you never can tell. But I would definitely push my stop loss up. All right, what about Baba? This is, of course, Alibaba. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it looks as if the Chinese stocks may have to adhere to generally accepted accounting principles. This was They don't. Right, currently they don't. Now, normally, almost all other stocks that are listed on American exchanges have to follow generally accepted accounting principles. But in the Obama administration, an exception, and I don't know why this was made. I think it had to do with some lobbying money or some campaign contributions that were paid to the Obama administration. That's what I think anyways. I'm very suspicious about that. Was made, and they didn't have to they didn't, in order to list on the American exchanges, they didn't have to do generally accepted accounting principles. That's why there were these stocks like Luck and Coffee. I don't remember that one last summer, but it was symbol LK, and they totally frauded it up. They said they had like 7,000 or 8,000 or more stores that were just fraudulent, didn't have them. So this is going to probably change, looks like, unless it's vetoed. It might be, with an incoming administration, they've taken a lot of money from the Chinese, and so that might be an issue. But right now, Baba is pulling back, and part of the reason is because people are saying, "Show me the money." They're basically saying, "Well, are your books for real?" So right now, as you can see, let's look at the weekly chart. It's pulling back. Yeah, it started its trend. It seems like it's broken. Now, the question is, will it break its trend? I'm not sure, but we definitely have an issue where If we move below this line, this is the black line here. This is the 200-day moving average. If we move below that, and we are in a downward motion. If we move below that line, then we may have seen another trend. There's an awful lot of selling going on here. So I am not really that bullish, at least looking at this chart on BABA. Let's look at the monthly chart. The monthly chart isn't going to really show much because it's just such a long period of time. But this relative strength I don't like. It's a 60, and I like to see at least an 80 on that. So my thoughts on BABA. My thoughts on BABA is, I don't want to be in it right now, and I don't think, I think it may be going lower. I think it may be heading lower. Let's look at Palantir and ICA. Well, it's Palantir, of course. I'm in Palantir. It's not on the small portfolio, but I do have it in one of my other accounts. Palantir is just a very interesting stock in all directions. I don't know if you know, they had some news today that I guess it came out today, that they have signed a deal with the government of Greece, which is kind of interesting. It's just moving up very nicely today, up $5. And the question is, can you buy it at this level? This is a tough one to buy. I will admit there is a bit of there's a bit of resistance right about 24 that it punched through today. As you can see, it punched through. I do think this is going to go higher. I think it may go as high as 35 in the short term. Now, I do have, just for full disclosure, I have sold an option on this one. I have sold a 35 option. I don't know if it will get to 35. Hopefully, I'll be able to take that money. But it looks as if, is there a really good buy point on this one? This is a tough one to buy. I've been kicked out of this one twice in stop losses. If I did buy it at this level, and I still think it's worth going on the hunt for this one because of the way this candle is trading, you notice that this little notch here at the top. Okay, that means that's where it's trading currently. So it's at the top of its buy range, and we do have a lot of buying action going on there. So I do think this is going higher. The question is, can you buy it at this level? I think if you buy it at this level, you have to be very, very careful and set a stop loss. I would set a stop loss about 5 or 7% below where I purchased it. So, based on that, we're looking at possibly, a stop loss of basically right about this level here, which is going to be about 25 and change. So about 25.15 is where I would set my stop loss if you're willing to take, and you have to be willing to take this much of a potential hit. But I do think that that would be a good place to be in it. I just want to see this thing pull back a little bit more. I think it's just still moving at far too steep an angle. The angle is really this. And I do think we're going to see it. We'll see another pullback. Probably, I don't know if we're going to see it today or tomorrow, but probably this week, we'll probably see it pull back a little bit. I'm going to be pushing up my stop loss, but this is a tough one to buy. Really tough one to buy. But it's definitely worthwhile because I do think it's going to. This one has the capability, I think, to double easily, because a lot of institutional investors are very interested in this one. It's already got 69 funds in it, so it's just it's looking good. It's looking good. Let's take a look at ICA. ICA. Let's see if I can give you. Nope. Did I do that wrong? Maybe it's LCA. Maybe that's okay. Blank check company. Oh, okay. Here's the thing about blank check companies. I really should be better on these blank checks, but I don't think this is really viable right now. I just want to see it trade for a little bit of time. It just hasn't traded long enough. Typically, I want to see at least, I want to see a little bit more history than this. I don't know what they're going to be acquiring. That's my biggest problem. So I have to take sort of a punt on that one. I'm not going to be able to tell you that much about it until it's traded for a little bit. Thoughts on the airlines. This is from Will Lyons 143 off of TikTok. Thank you so much for taking a look at the show. And by the way, if you want to see the charts, I do show them on the simulcast, which is on youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So it's easy to see It's easy to see that as well. Thoughts on the airlines? Up big, but wondering if it's going to drop. You know what? I just won't touch the airlines, and I'll tell you why. Because the other shoe hasn't really dropped with, the other shoe hasn't really dropped with in terms of the airlines yet. I want to show you the chart of Delta Airlines, which I think is probably the best of the breed in airlines. Now, it's moved above the Delta Airlines has moved above the 200-day. Okay, so that's good. It's currently trading at 42.35, but I'm really leery about this. The buy point on the consolidation basis 35.07, and it's not really that long. It still doesn't have enough. It's just the relative strength is just too low at 54. Let's look at the smell test. Yeah, I just can't buy this one, and I don't think any of the airlines are very good buys. I think these might be good shorts, though. I think once we reopen, I think a lot of funds are going to try to dump this stock in the new year. Now, the question is when. Well, it doesn't really have the correct format yet. There's a very specific chart pattern that you need to look for when many of the big funds are trying to exit something that they're in. I think that will happen. It's called the head and shoulders pattern, and you can Google that so you can tell what it is. It's not made that yet, but this is not a very good checklist. It's only 4 out of 9, and you have dropping number of funds. The funds are trying what they're trying to do to the retail investor here is they're trying to lure them in, saying, "Oh yeah, it's water's great, get in," and then they're going to basically drain the swamp. What they're going to do is they're going to pull the plug, and you're going to be left holding the bag. I just think it's worth it taking a risk on the airlines. So the airlines and the bankrupt rental car companies, just avoid them. Hertz, no way. United Airlines, no way. Delta Airlines, no way. You just don't have enough money to fight the tape, and that's really what's going to happen. These companies are not going to be profitable probably for at least 5 years, and so it's just going to be tough sledding all the way around. I think eventually the big money is going to get is going to get out of these, and in the middle of the night, and you're going to be left holding the bag. So just avoid the airlines. Really, there's so many other places that you can make money. So many that you absolutely can make money. Question. Thank you, Umar. Appreciate it. Are you planning to hold Tesla going into? I probably will sell it before the 21st, or maybe on the 21st. So that's a very, very good question. Question about Tesla. Question on Camping World. CWH. CWH. And unfortunately, I just don't like the trend of this chart. Here's the first thing I always look at. I go to the weekly chart, and I'm going to click over to the weekly chart here, and I look to see the trend. Now, we were doing great up until just recently, and then I don't know what happened here, but in the beginning of September, we started to hit some turbulence, so we are in a downward trend. So I'm still not interested in this in this currently. I might be interested if it pulled above it pulls above this line and it shows a confirmation of the trend. Let's go look at the daily chart to see kind of where that's going to happen. This is the trend. Well, we might have a trend reversal. I misspoke there. Basically, looking at this, we may have a trend reversal. It seems to be hugging the 21-day exponential. So not bad. This might be the very beginning of a trend reversal, and they could be very, very good. It's got a relative strength of 92, so I like that. It's had increased, it's increasing there. It's got increasing fund ownership. I really like that. It's 7 out of 9, so that gives it a 77% smell test, so that's good. Let's look at the fund. Let's look at the industry group. I want to see that. Boy, that's really good. It's 14 out of 197. You know what? This is definitely a watch list. I correct myself. I was speaking out of turn. Based on the charts that I'm seeing here, I think you could possibly buy this. I would want to see this pull back to the. There's really not necessarily a great place to buy this, but what I would do is I would set an alert, and I'm going to put the alert right there at 2047. the alert is basically at 2047, and basically, if it pulls back to that 2047 line, if it pulls back to that and it reverses, then I think you might have a buy. So I would definitely watch this one. Don't buy this at the current level, though. Be careful, because it's pulling up right now. It needs to pull back, hit that 40-day average, and then bounce off of that and set a new trend. And I think you might have a real winner there on that. So let's take another question from TikTok. Thanks for holding on here. How high do you see Tesla going in the future? Boy, I wish I could tell you that. I think it may be, $1,000 stock. It may split again. I don't know. I don't know, but I do think that every now and again there's a stock that sort of redefines a lot of things. And I think Tesla's that stock. I think that, because of self-driving cars, because of a lot of things, electric cars are here to stay. And I think, Tesla's the leader right now, and it's changing the whole industry. I mean, another stock that I haven't bought yet that I'm waiting to buy is General Motors, because they're going to be in it too. I mean, the change to the electric vehicle market is tremendous. Now, so let's take a look at General Motors. It's pulled back a little bit. So I want to take a look at this one. This has been on a watch list. I haven't bought this one. It looks as if there was a high basically here. So let's look at the weekly chart. Why am I so interested in General Motors? You'd say, well, mainly because, I miss my father's Oldsmobile. I don't know. My father did have an Oldsmobile, actually. But here's the deal with this. This is the largest vehicle manufacturer in China. It's not Li Motors. It's not NIO. It's not even Tesla. It's, believe it or not, General Motors. And also, this company probably in 5 years will make more electric vehicles than any other company in the world, even than Tesla. So this is the one you kind of got to watch, believe it or not. It's at 44.31. Can you buy it? Well, not yet. I think you want to watch this one. I think you definitely want to watch this one, but it's hugging this 10-day line. So, there's some potential here, and I know it seems kind of strange. Why would I be recommending General Motors? Well, it had a bankruptcy in 2013, and they got rid of most of their debt. So, in that way, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, back to the question of Piano Man 2468. How high do you think Tesla can go in the future? I think it can easily go above $1,000 a share. Easily. Now the question is when? Probably in 2021. What about Gemma? JMIA. And this is, I haven't been in this one, but let's take a look at it. This is interesting because this is a company that's really operating in Africa and the Middle East, I believe. And, it provides e-commerce services. So that's very interesting. It's currently up today, $1.71 at $33.25. And it has a 99 relative strength, which is incredible. Let's look at the checklist. 6 out of 9, that's really good. And we do have some funds that are moving in. There's only 33 right now. So this is a relatively small stock in terms of its, its overall. The question is there a place that you can buy this thing? And I just don't really see it. But I do look. I am interested. This is an IPO, so I'm going to get more interested in it if it can move past about 47. Currently, it's 33.25. If this thing can move past about 47 and stick, I think that we might have something here. It really has to make a higher high in order for me to be interested. So this is definitely a watch list. It's definitely got a lot of stuff going on, but it's not a buy. It really isn't. So, question on, let's see. Let's look at Pinterest. Thank you so much. Pinterest is a really interesting stock. I don't have it yet, but and I don't have it on the watch list, but I'm more than likely putting it on there because it's just been phenomenally good. Let's look at the weekly chart. Let's see if we can see anything there. We definitely have enough time. When you're buying an IPO, the most important thing is to give it about 3 months so that it can actually show some price action, because the price action is how we buy them. We have to wait for some price action. But everything about the stock is looking really good. It's got a 98 relative strength. Relative strength. The relative strength line is pointing upwards, and it's just moving very nicely up in a very, very tight channel. Now, here's the thing. I do believe, based on this channel lines, I do think we're going to see it pull back a little bit, and hopefully we can see if there's a strategic place that we could buy it. All right. So currently the channel is basically this. Yeah, this is the channel, and let's see. And I think that, this is probably going to be the bottom of the channel there. Yeah, that's going to be the bottom of the channel. So here's the thing. It looks as if the stock is going to move. It's moving. It needs to move above about 72. If it moves above about 72, I think it's game on. It looks like it's just moving right up that 10-day average. There's not a really good place to buy this right now, unfortunately. It's such a good stock. There's not a really good place to buy that. What do I mean by that? Well, the best place to buy is right before after it makes a base pattern. That's not the case here. It's just moving right up this 10-day exponential, this 10-day line. That's this little pink line here, and it's right above the 21-day exponential. This is a very, very good sign. As you can see, it's always above. This is moving very fast because it's almost always above this little green line, and that is very, very bullish. Now, can it pull back to that green line? Well, it seems it's tried several times, but every time it pulls back, it keeps going higher. So, I do think that you could definitely watch this one and buy it. Where would I buy this? Well, I would probably try to buy this at the 10-day line, which is about 67.22, which is, that's going to be tough to buy it there. So I think you really have to watch this one, but it's excellent. And, that's basically all I have to say to Pinterest. But Pinterest should be on my watch list. And, I need to put it on my watch list because it's a tremendous company. All right. CVE. Let's look at CVE. CVE. All right. Coronavirus energy. Okay. Oil and gas. I don't particularly like this sector right now. It's just not doing as well. This is essentially a penny stock. What I mean by that is that typically stocks have to be, in order to be investment grade, you typically have to be above $15 a share in order for the funds to buy it. Why is it so important? Well, the funds are going to determine the movement of the stock. When funds start moving into stock, that's when it starts moving. So right now we're below that, so that makes it difficult in terms of a place to get it. It also has, it looks like it has changed trend, which is a good thing. Oops, there we go. There we go. I'm pointing out the 200-day moving average. It's moved above the 200-day moving average. That is good. We also have the beginning of what they call the golden cross. As you can see, this little red line. This is the 40-day moving average, and it's just about ready to cross the 200-day. That means that we're starting to get accumulation here. This is a classic watch list stock. I wouldn't buy this right now, though, because it could easily fall back. Let's look at the checklist. Unfortunately, this checklist just isn't strong enough. 3 out of 9. I typically want to see at least 6 out of 9. So it's just not there. So we have decreasing fund ownership. So it looks as if, I know that this is tough, but it looks as if we have, we just don't have very good things going on here. Excuse me. We have, only a 29 relative strength. We do have some buying though. I just think this is too dangerous. I wouldn't be in this one. Unfortunately, it just doesn't meet my criteria. Doesn't meet my criteria. Hey, great, thank you. Blink charging. This is one I like, actually. Probably should, you shouldn't ever fall in love with stocks. Unfortunately, I do every now and again. And this is one I kind of really like. It's called Blink Charging. And I think they have a really good business model. And, I found out about this company because I got turned on to it. I looked at it. And I'm like, what is this Blink Charging? So I looked it up on the website. And sure enough, right in my neighborhood, there was a Blink Charging. And I went over there and I thought, wow, this is great. They've got a little electric vehicle charging station that you just use your iPhone, and you just if you have a Tesla, you're probably going to go to a supercharger. But if you have a different one, like if you have a Nissan Leaf or something like that, you don't have stations around. This is for those cars, and I just think they're doing really great. It's up today, $3, which is amazing because it's $26 stock. So I really like this one. I kind of like Blink Charging. It has a 99 relative strength. Just want to show you that. Oops. Yeah. It has a 99 relative strength. That's on the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly chart because that kind of really tells the tale. Yeah, it looks as if we've hit a little bit of resistance here, but hopefully as we move beyond this, it could really go up. It could go up to possibly 34. That's pretty good. It's up 12.75% today, and of course I do hold this stock, so I like Blink Charging a lot. Let's look at the checklist. 6 out of 9, it meets my smell test. And let's look at the funds. Well, this is a relatively small stock. There's only 29 funds in this, but it's increasing. So that is a good thing. Here's the issue with stocks like Blink Charging. I want to be very upfront about it. Don't have too much exposure to Blink Charging because it's a relatively thinly traded stock. So no more than one full position in your portfolio. The question is, what is a position? Well, position. If think of your portfolio as like a big pizza pie, and in that pizza pie, you have various in that pizza pie, you have various things that you have slices of pizza. So if it's a speculative stock, you typically don't want to have more than 1/8 of your portfolio. So like I just bought, for instance, today, I just bought this thing called carparts.com, and it's actually up a little bit, just slightly, only $3. But anyways, but it's basically 1/8 of the portfolio. You never want to buy more than that. And you also want to set your stop loss at about 7% less than where you than where you bought it at. That way, your total risk on that position is only 1% of your overall portfolio value. So anyways, that's my little thing about Blink Charging and position trading. So thank you. All right, UMC. Now UMC is interesting. It's sort of the sister company, not really sister company, but similar company to TSM, which is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. UMC is a fab based in Taiwan that does an awful lot of stuff, and it's up today, and it is a very good stock. I think this is trading somewhat in sympathy to TSM. It's got a 98 relative strength, so this one could be potentially a very good play. Now, there's some issues with UMC. It doesn't have a lot of fund ownership, and so only 2% of funds own this. It does have increasing sales though, and I really like this. But this is an issue. This one may not move as fast as TSM because TSM has much more funds in it. But it's 8 out of 9 on the smell test, so that's excellent. It is starting to get some funds, but it's back down a little bit. Here's the thing: I think that TSMC or TSM is a better stock. Now I know it's more expensive, but the best thing to do is probably just buy less of it. TSM, which is essentially the sister, it's up $2.86% or 2%. This has got much better fund sponsorship at 9% here. Also the same with the sales going up. So here's what I would do with UMC. I don't think I would go with UMC. I would instead, if I wanted to have exposure to the fabs, I would go with TSM, and it has a 100% checklist. Well, I have I have gone a whole hour and 10 minutes, probably a lot longer than than I probably should have gone. Definitely appreciate everyone coming on here. I wasn't able to get to all the questions. I try to answer them in detail, but if you want, you can send the questions to me, and I'll try to answer it offline at www.Dallas Trading Floor. So it's real easy. Just and by the way, if you want to subscribe, please subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. I'll be back tomorrow at 2:30, and I hope everyone is having a good day and happy trading. Oops.